They said theirs was the one love even Hollywood couldn't destroy. A fairy tale so flawless it made every red carpet looked like a wedding aisle. But what if I told you that behind those million-dollar smiles and glittering award shows, there was a secret Nicole Kidman spent 19 years trying to bury? Because yes, the Queen of Grace. The woman the world worshipped for her elegance and perfection might not be as saintly as she seemed. For nearly 2 decades, we were sold the image of a devoted wife, a doting mother, a Hollywood goddess who survived heartbreak with poise. But what if that silence everyone praised her for wasn't grace? It was guilt. What if behind those designer gowns and gentle smiles, there was something darker? A truth so carefully hidden that even the tabloids couldn't touch it. Tonight, we're tearing down the curtain of perfection and stepping into the story Nicole Kidman never wanted the world to hear. Forget the red carpets and Oscars. This is about power, control, and a secret that could rewrite everything you thought you knew about Hollywood's golden couple. Because after 19 years of silence, Nicole Kidman isn't whispering anymore. She's finally talking. And what she just revealed might change everything. When the cameras flashed, the world saw perfection. Nicole Kidman, the untouchable Hollywood goddess, standing beside country music's wildest heartthrob, Keith Urban. They were the picture of elegance and chaos, perfectly balanced, or so we thought. But behind that practiced smile and the glittering awards, something else was brewing, something far too messy for the cameras to catch. Because while Hollywood painted them as the love story that defied fame, the truth is, their marriage was built on secrets, silence, and one deal that neither of them ever expected to keep. According to an anonymous source close to the couple, Nicole didn't just marry Keith for love, she married him for control. Shocking, maybe, but let's rewind. After her explosive breakup with Tom Cruise, Nicole's image was shattered. She wasn't America's sweetheart anymore. She was Hollywood's mystery widow. Studio execs whispered that she'd lost her sparkle, that she was too fragile to headline. So when she met Keith, a charming but self-destructive musician fresh out of rehab, she saw a chance not just for romance but for redemption. Together, they could rebuild what both had lost: reputation. She saved him and he saved her career. One insider said, "Sounds poetic, right? Until you realize saving him came at a cost: his freedom." Behind closed doors, Nicole reportedly ran their marriage like a movie set. Every interview, every photo, every romantic moment was allegedly scripted, timed, rehearsed. They practiced smiles in mirrors, claimed one former assistant. Even their hugs had direction. Meanwhile, Keith's career exploded, but not without strings attached. Nicole allegedly had final say on every tour, every collaboration, even the lyrics he wrote. Especially the lyrics. Because if the world ever found out what those songs were really about, it could have blown their perfect image apart. Remember that 2010 hit Without You? Fans thought it was a love letter. But leaked studio notes suggest otherwise, that it was originally written about emotional suffocation, not romance. Of course, the lyrics were changed before release. Publicly, Nicole beamed with pride. Privately, she made sure the story stayed on brand. For years, they sold that narrative: the angel and the rebel, the healer and the healed. But cracks were showing. And by 2020, insiders noticed a shift. She stopped smiling between takes. One production member from Big Little Lies said she'd stare into nothing, like she was rehearsing grief. It was the kind of silence that speaks louder than scandal. And if the whispers are true, that silence was about to break wide open. Because what Nicole discovered next didn't just threaten her marriage. It threatened her empire. It started with a phone call. A simple late-night voicemail that Nicole was never meant to hear. Keith was in Nashville, supposedly working on a new project. But what Nicole heard wasn't music, it was laughter. A woman's laughter. Calm, intimate, too familiar to ignore. According to one insider, Nicole replayed that message over and over. Not in anger, but in disbelief. Because this wasn't just betrayal, it was exposure. For 19 years, she'd kept control. Every detail, every narrative, carefully constructed to protect the empire she built. But one voice note cracked the entire foundation. It wasn't about cheating, said the same source. It was about what that call proved, that Keith had been keeping something from her, something far bigger than infidelity. Within days, Nicole's world became a quiet investigation. No shouting, no confrontation, just silence and suspicion. She hired a private investigator, the kind of Hollywood ghost who specializes in cleaning up celebrity messes before TMZ smells blood. And what that investigator allegedly found was more than Nicole bargained for: secret bank accounts, unreported deals, and quiet donations to a creative wellness foundation that didn't seem to exist. Millions of dollars all flowing through a network of shell companies linked to music management firms and tax shelters. It looked clean, said a whistleblower who claimed to have seen the documents. But when we traced the signatures, it led straight back to someone in Nicole's inner circle. By this point, Nicole's calm exterior was cracking. The same woman who had once dictated every word of a press release was now deleting photos, skipping public events, and canceling interviews last minute. Still, she stayed silent, at least in public. Privately, she began confronting those closest to her, one by one. She wasn't yelling, another source recalled. She was just collecting information. When she finally put the pieces together, she realized this wasn't just about money. It was about manipulation and revenge. Because the foundation wasn't fake at all. It was real. And the person running it? Someone she'd trusted for years. Someone she'd brought into her home, an anonymous former staffer, revealed that the foundation's true purpose was to fund creative projects outside of Nicole's control, essentially. A rebellion, a quiet act of artistic independence led by none other than Keith himself. He was tired of being her prop, the source said. He wanted his freedom back. That discovery shattered her, not because of the betrayal, but because of the irony. For years, Nicole had played the role of the woman in control, the one who orchestrated every move. But now she realized she'd been outmaneuvered in her own game. The woman who once dictated every headline was about to become the headline herself. And as rumors began leaking into the press, Nicole faced a decision that would define her legacy: bury the truth or expose everything. For days, Nicole disappeared from the public eye. No red carpets, no interviews, no social media posts, just silence. But this time, it wasn't the polished silence she was famous for. This was the silence of a storm about to break. According to a close friend, Nicole spent nearly a week in isolation at her estate outside Sydney, reviewing documents, phone records, and leaked contracts until dawn. She wasn't crying, the friend said. She was planning. And what she planned wasn't a cover-up, it was a reckoning. Because for the first time in 19 years, Nicole Kidman decided to stop protecting her image and start protecting her truth. Sources say her first move was cutting ties, quietly but decisively. Her longtime publicist, gone. Her personal assistant of 10 years, let go. Even a few family friends who had managed their finances were suddenly unreachable. Then came the press leaks, not from tabloids, but from Nicole herself. Within days, select journalists received encrypted emails containing fragments of bank statements, transaction logs, and legal memos. Each file hinted at corruption, mismanagement, and hidden deals tied to that mysterious foundation. But here's where it gets twisted. Nicole didn't just expose Keith, she exposed herself too. In one document, she acknowledged authorizing several of those shell companies early in their marriage, calling them a shared decision made under pressure. Translation: she wasn't entirely innocent. The media went feral. Headlines screamed betrayal, fraud, and financial deceit. Talk shows dissected every detail. Was it love gone wrong or a power war gone nuclear? One late-night host quipped, "Hollywood finally found a plot twist better than any Nicole Kidman movie." But amid the chaos, something unexpected happened. The public sided with her. They saw her not as the manipulative perfectionist Hollywood painted, but as a woman reclaiming her voice after decades of silence. For years, she was the one being directed, wrote one columnist. Now she's directing the story herself. Keith's camp, of course, denied everything. His management issued a statement calling the leaks a fabrication of events, claiming Nicole was struggling emotionally and acting out of confusion. But insiders say he underestimated her resolve, because Nicole didn't stop at leaks. She reportedly filed a confidential legal notice demanding a full audit of their shared assets, and included a list of names tied to offshore accounts in both the US and Australia. The same names she'd once trusted. It was a move of pure chess, said a former attorney familiar with the case. She forced everyone who thought she'd stay silent to either defend her or destroy themselves.